QSEHRA tutorial: how your business can benefit from a health reimbursement plan. Find out what a qualified small employer health reimbursement arrangement is and how it can help curb your small business's operational cost. Learn QSEHRA's pros and cons, as well as employee and employer requirements, and see how leading small businesses in America are using the QSEHRA scheme to foster long-term productivity, boost revenue, and reduce attrition. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. How you doing today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous. If you're doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. Today, I want to talk to you about QSEHRA. I mean, I love that name. It's just a beautiful name. I'll probably give this name to my daughter. Who knows? QSEHRA. I'm giving you a tutorial about QSEHRA and telling you how your business can benefit from a health reimbursement plan. Let's get to the nitty-gritty here. What is a QSEHRA? A QSEHRA, the acronym QSEHRA stands for Qualified Small Employer Health Reimbursement Arrangement. It's essentially a health reimbursement arrangement for small businesses. With a QSEHRA, you can provide tax-free benefits and reimbursements to your employee to help them cover insurance and medical costs. Only employers with less than 50 employees and no group healthcare plan option can provide a QSEHRA as a benefit to employees. This is so important, I'm going to repeat it. Only employers with less than 50 employees and no group healthcare plan option can provide a QSEHRA as a benefit to employees. Now, a QSEHRA is essentially, if you think about it, is essentially a scheme that allows employers to reimburse up to $5,150 for single coverage and $10,450 for family coverage, adjusted for inflation for qualified health care expenses. This includes everything from premiums on personal health insurance plans purchased on the open market and medical expenses, such as doctor's visits and prescription drugs. Now, to receive reimbursement, employees must provide proof of their medical cost. One of the most important benefits that a small business owner can provide is health insurance. We all know that we are in the United States. You get sick, something happened, people file for bankruptcy after getting sick. This is crazy, but this is what it is. Now, employees, especially those working for small businesses across the United States, say that health insurance is the most important benefit in terms of their job satisfaction. And no wonder, they're right. However, not all small businesses can afford to offer health insurance plans to their employees. Now, in the last 5 to 10 years, small businesses could work around this problem by offering health reimbursement arrangement, or HRAs. HRAs back in the days allowed businesses to reimburse employees for personal health insurance policies they chose themselves. However, with the passage of the Affordable Care Act of 2010, standalone HRAs became non-compliant. So nowadays, small business owners who continue to offer HRAs without also offering health insurance to their employees incurred a $100 penalty per employee per day, making this arrangement unattainable. Now, however, that all changed in 2016 with the passage of the Qualified Small Employer Health Reimbursement Arrangement, QSEHRA. With a QSEHRA plan, small business owners who are unable to provide their employees with health insurance can once again help employees pay for their personal health plan costs. Now, how do QSEHRA works? Let's say an employer wants to offer a QSEHRA. They will set aside a fixed amount of money each month for qualified expenses. That money goes into a certain bank account, into a trust account. Employees will receive reimbursement from the QSEHRA up to the employer specified annual limits. If the staff members don't make claims or don't claim the right amount, the full amount, the money stays with the employer, again in that trust account. So QSEHRA reimbursement are typically administered via payroll, and employers don't have to pay payroll taxes on benefits paid to employees via a QSEHRA. It's just some sort of tax break that the authorities have given small businesses. Remember, small businesses under 50 who have more than 50 who have less than 50 employees, less than. It's important also to note that in order for QSEHRA to be compliant with the law, all staff members, all employees must benefit from it equally. This means what? Employer contribution to each employee's QSEHRA must be the same. So if one employee has an individual plan and another employee has a family plan, you as a business owner, you can arrange for the employee with a family plan to receive a larger reimbursement limit because their plan is more expensive, right? So for example, if you offer a single employee $500 per month in reimbursement, an employee with dependents will get $1,000 per month. Other common ways to administer your QSEHRA would be to offer all employees the maximum reimbursement or to offer different reimbursement amounts based on age. So you can, some small business owners have had 5-year increments. So from 20 to 25, 25 to 30, 30 to 35, 40, 35 to 40, and so on and so forth, all the way to 65 years of age. You can also opt to reimburse premiums only or reimburse both premiums and medical expenses. It really depends on your budget. Now, employees who don't become eligible for the QSEHRA until mid-year will receive a prorated amount of full-year maximum reimbursement. Now, employers are also not required to cover contractors, part-time workers, and seasonal workers under QSEHRA. So people who are receiving a 1099 at the end of the year, they usually do not qualify for the QSEHRA. New hires are only eligible to participate in the QSEHRA after 3 months of employment, 90 days. So that's the probationary period that new employees have to go through before qualifying for a QSEHRA. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Q. We're also having a conversation today around the QSEHRA, and this is a tutorial. I'm just showing you, I'm giving you the nitty-gritty here, how your small business can benefit from a health reimbursement plan. What are the QSEHRA requirements? All QSEHRA plans must remain compliant with the Affordable Care Act and the Employer Retirement Income Security Act. That's called the ERISA. Now, ERISA has been around for more than 30 years. And ERISA sets minimum standards for most voluntarily established retirement and health plans in private industry in order to provide protection for individuals in these plans. There are two main qualifications that employers must meet to be eligible to set up a QSEHRA. So your business cannot already offer a group health insurance plan to your employees, and your business cannot be an applicable large employer, an ALE. This means your business must have what? Less than 50 full-time employees. Even if you do qualify, there are myriad requirements both employees and employers must adhere to. Let's talk about them now. Now, what are the employee requirements? In order for an employee to be eligible to participate in a QSEHRA, he or she must have health insurance that meets minimum requirements. Types of eligible health insurance include, this could be an individual health insurance plan through an insurance company or the ACA marketplace, the Affordable Care Act marketplace, or a spouse's or a parent's insurance if the employee is under the age of 26, or government-sponsored insurance like Medicare and Medicaid. In addition, staff members must show proof of their health insurance and medical costs in order to be reimbursed. That's for employee requirements. Let's talk now about employer requirements. Now, employers are required to fund the entire QSEHRA. Employees are not allowed to contribute through their paychecks, right? So as I've said earlier, the employer must offer all employees the same terms and benefits. So no discrimination, no unfairness here. If an employer decides to set up a QSEHRA, they must give employees notice of at least 90 days before the beginning of the year in which the QSEHRA is to be provided. If a staff member is not eligible at the beginning of the year, he or she must receive notice once he or she becomes eligible. Now, one thing that the authorities have left out, and this is very interesting in practice, is that an employer can participate in his or her own QSEHRA, a scheme that allows him or her to provide himself or herself with a tax-deductible benefit, if you think about it. However, an employer's eligibility to participate in a QSEHRA depends on their business entity type. So generally, corporation owners are able to participate in a QSEHRA. Nonetheless, an S-Corp owner who owns more than 20% of the corporation is considered self-employed and ineligible. In addition, if you own an LLC, sole proprietorship, or a partnership, you are also considered self-employed and therefore ineligible for a QSEHRA. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. We're also having a conversation here around QSEHRA, and I'm giving you a tutorial how your business can benefit from a health reimbursement plan. If you love the clarity and quality of the content so far, please consider subscribing to our channel and turn on the notification bell so you can be informed in real time whenever we release a new show. And we do this every single day, rain or shine, and we just love what we're doing. All right. Share this content, comment below, and like. How to set up a QSEHRA. Now, there are several processes involved in setting up a QSEHRA. Now, before you get started, we would strongly advise you to consult with a third-party HR service provider or professional employer organization, right? Because this kind of businesses, they not only advise you on how to set up your QSEHRA, they can also assist you in doing so. Now, if you want to do it alone because of budget problems or because of out of curiosity, there are a few steps you need to follow. First, design your plan. This means you create the terms and reimbursement rules around your QSEHRA. Make sure everything is clear. Everything is written in plain language. How much will you offer each employee every month? Specify the dollar amount. Will you offer the same reimbursement rate to all employees, or provide more for employees with dependents, step members with kids, right? Will you cover only their premiums or their premiums and their medical cost? These are the kind of questions you need to answer when designing your plan. And again, it has to be clearly explained. Step 1, design your plan. Step 2, create the plan documents. The law requires you, Congress requires you, under the QSEHRA terms, to lay out everything on legal documents. So your documentation should include an explanation of your plan and what it covers. It should also tell employees to inform their health insurance provider of their QSEHRA benefit amount and explain that reimbursement may be taxable if the employee does not maintain their minimum essential coverage health insurance. Step number 3. You want to set up a process to administer your QSEHRA. Now remember though, as I said earlier, employees must provide proof of their health insurance and medical cost to be eligible to apply for reimbursement. However, under HIPAA, which stands for the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, employers cannot actually ask employees for their medical records. Furthermore, the IRS requires employers offering a QSEHRA to keep employees' medical receipts for up to 7 years. So we have a conundrum here, right? So because of these reasons, it is fairly common for a small business owner to seek out a third-party QSEHRA administrator to help them maintain their QSEHRA. All right. Now, there does seem to be an emerging market when it comes to QSEHRA administration and you have people who offer software programs and other companies who are just doing the actual work manually or maybe through software but internally. And those companies have the capability to draft your plan for you and help you make sure you are in compliance with the law. Step number 4, pick a start date. You can start your QSEHRA anytime you want, as new plans do not adhere to the 90-day requirements, right? Now, I would say that from a logistics standpoint, it is generally easier to launch a QSEHRA at the beginning of a new month or a calendar year, right? So note though, if you are presently offering group health insurance to your employees, You'll have to wait until the coverage expires to launch your QSEHRA, unless you are able to negotiate an early termination with your health insurance company. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. We are still continuing our conversation here around QSEHRA, and I'm giving you a tutorial on how your business can benefit from a health reimbursement plan. Should you offer a QSEHRA at all? Let's go through the pros and cons here. I mean, now you understand everything about QSEHRA. You know how they work. The only question is, should you offer QSEHRA to your employees? What are the pros? There are myriad benefits to offering a QSEHRA as an employer. You have more variety. Some business owners often cannot afford comprehensive healthcare coverage, which leaves employees to sign up for a one-size-fits-all plan. So a QSEHRA fixes this problem by providing employees with cash, tax-free, that they can put towards a healthcare plan of their choosing. What's more, plans with medical reimbursement allow employees to be reimbursed for a variety of different costs, such as prescription drugs or a visit to the dentist. Another pro, tax incentive. Like group health care plans, a QSEHRA is also tax deductible for both the employer and employee. So an employer can make reimbursement without having to pay payroll taxes, and employees don't have to pay income tax on the reimbursement. In addition, reimbursement made by the company count as a tax deduction. So you have a win-win-win situation here. Flexibility. A QSEHRA is very flexible. So with many group health care plans, employers are required to contribute a certain amount to the employee-only cost. With a QSEHRA, however, there are no minimum contribution amounts required. So employers also have more control over which expenses they will reimburse and how much reimbursement employees are eligible for. So as a small business owner, you have control over how much reimbursement your staff members qualify for. You also have another pro, which is the cost control. This is a big advantage here, especially for a company that has more than 50 employees, full-time employees. A QSEHRA allows staff members and companies, especially companies rather, to make monthly healthcare costs predictable by allowing them to set their own reimbursement limits. This means that there will be no budget surprises come the end of the month. You also have location. So employees who work out of state can still participate in a QSEHRA without any administrative or financial issues. So those are the 5 pros you have for the QSEHRA. Let's talk now about the cons, the disadvantages, the downsides. You have limited contribution methods. So with the QSEHRA, employers are limited to offering $5,150 to employees with no dependents and $10,450 to employees with families. Besides, employers can adjust contribution amounts based on family status, but not seniority. So whether you've been working for the company for 20 years, 30 years, or 3 months or 6 months, there is no seniority being taken into account. So when trying to hire for your small business, these factors may be perceived as a drawback by prospective employees. You gotta have complex administration, right? It's hard for a small business owner to manage a QSEHRA on their own. If you make any errors in your management of a QSEHRA, you'll be subject to steep fines. This is why many businesses resort to hiring a QSEHRA administrator. However, there is another expense you have to consider when doing your cost-benefit analysis, right? So this is kind of important. If you have to hire someone, then this is something you have to think about. But honestly, it's much better to have someone where you're paying someone who has expertise in the field than risking getting a fine from the authorities, right? Now, lack of understanding is another downside to a QSEHRA. The qualified small employer health reimbursement arrangement only became law in 2017. This means what? That when talking about the QSEHRA in 2020, you're likely facing a learning curve when trying to educate employees about these benefits, despite its various benefits regarding taxes, flexibility, and money. The big question is, the $1 million question is a QSEHRA right for your business? Now, it really depends. It depends on your business model, it depends on your sector, it depends on your budget. A QSEHRA makes it possible for small business owners to cover healthcare costs when they otherwise will be unable to do. There are many requirements that come with administering a QSEHRA, but these benefits can actually be a more flexible and affordable option for small businesses than other types of healthcare benefits, right? So in this show, I've helped you define what a QSEHRA is, identify the pros and cons of this plan, and have tried to explain to you how to set up a QSEHRA. Now, when it comes to deciding whether or not this is good for you, this is you got to talk to your employees. You got to consult with a QSEHRA administrator. You have to look at your own company's budget. Do you have employees who are older, who are younger? Which sector are you in? Is occupational safety a problem in your industry? Those are things that will help you determine if the QSEHRA benefit is right for you. All right. Thanks so much for listening to today's conversation. And this was the QSEHRA tutorial, how your business can benefit from a health reimbursement plan. I explained to you what is a QSEHRA, how do QSEHRA work, QSEHRA requirements, employer requirements, how to set up a QSEHRA, design your plan, create plan documents, set up a process to administer your QSEHRA, pick a start date, and the last thing is, should you offer a QSEHRA? I spoke about the pros and cons and whether or not the QSEHRA was right for your business. Thanks for listening to me. I really appreciate it. I will see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.